I could be wrong, I could be right, but the number one reason why you should get this car is that, so if you're on the fence about getting a C6 Corvette or thinking about getting one, you came to the right video. And in this video I'm going to be explaining why you should get a C6 Corvette. And make sure to stay till the end because that's going to be the number one reason why I think you should get one. So if you're new to the channel, this is my 2007 C6 Corvette with the Z51 package and 3LT trim. And yeah, I'm just gonna be basing it off my experience. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first reason you should get this is the daily drivability. This behind me has almost 115,000 miles and still running like a champ. And it's really good around town. Before I lowered it, you know, on coilovers and put a lip. Prior to that, it's just like any sports car. You could, you know, drive it around town, no problem at all. Except there'd be those few situations where, you know, the driveway is really steep or something and you would have to angle the car. But a stock C6 Corvette, perfectly fine, just going around town and everything like that. One other thing is that it has a really big trunk. Just look at this. You could fit like 4 people's luggage in here. Take it to the groceries. You could, you know, buy a small TV even from Costco or something like that if you really wanted to. Put it in there. It could probably fit, honestly. You could do whatever. The other thing is if you get the base models or the Grand Sport, you could take the top off. So yeah, you literally have like a convertible and you could put in the trunk, and if it's raining or it gets too hot, you can throw the top back on, and it's really light. It's only like 10 to 12 pounds. Also, one thing to include in the daily drivability is just to get the 3LT package if you can, or the 3LT with the Z51, because that'll be like the highest base model trim you can get basically. And you get the Bose speakers, which is pretty decent even today. So this car is 2007, has the Bose speakers, and I still think it holds fairly well with modern cars. And it has the heads-up display, which comes in clutch and when you want to look at. The only downside with the heads-up display is if you have a white car in front of you, for some reason you just can't see it. I don't know why. And also it has the heated seats and it comes in clutch on cold days and it'll warm you right up. Alright, so the next reason why you should get this car is that it's really affordable right now. So looking on Auto Trader, the base models are going around for $15K, and obviously they're gonna have higher mileage, but honestly I wouldn't worry about it too much unless it really depends on the owner before you know. So this car has 115,000 miles and there's a couple things that are replaced, but other than that it's still running like a champ. And like I said earlier, if you do plan on getting one, get the 3LT with the Z51 package because that has pretty much everything you need. And if you're looking to buy a Z06, it's going to cost you a little bit more. They're around 30,000 for the higher mileage ones. But one thing you have to watch out with the C6 Z06 is the valve guides. They wear out prematurely. And I've heard on stories and forums that it doesn't matter if their car had 5,000 miles or 105,000 miles, it can happen anytime. So if you get the C6 Z06, just make sure or ask the previous owner if they got the valve seats done or just, you know, a head package. So yeah, that's one thing to look at with the C6 Z06s. If you do plan on getting the ZR1, I think it's one of the best cars you can get for around 50,000 because you get a car that weighs 3,300,000 pounds, about that, with 638 horsepower and a couple mods. You could probably take out almost 99% of the cars on the road. So I think for 50K, the C6 ZR1s are really a good deal right now. And the third reason why you should get this car is the modifications. Because guys, the C6 Corvette, I mean, people that are watching this video know, but the people that don't know, this car has the infamous LS engine. And you guys have heard that saying, LS swapped the world. They literally made so many of these engines and put them in a bunch of different cars. So, I mean, modding these engines aren't cheap because it's obviously a V8. There's more moving parts than the 4-cylinder. But I would say it's on the less expensive side because they just made so freaking many. And a bunch of companies make aftermarket parts for this engine. Yeah, so for the engine, you can have something simple like mine, which is just all I have is a cold air intake and exhaust. Probably pushing like 430 because this is the LS2. And you could have something crazy like the Nelson 427, and just I'll show you guys a picture right here. And that thing just looks freaking insane, right? So moving from the engine to the exterior, I think this car will be one of the best looking Vettes in the maybe 15-20 years because this car has the perfect blend of C5 and C7. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the C5, if you look at it, it's a little too curvy, and for me the C7 is just a little, has too many sharp lines. And what the C6 does is it literally combines both of them, obviously because it's in the middle, but I think it balances that perfect sharpness and also curves at the same time. So adding into the modification, what else can you do with this car? You can stance it, put it on bags, lower it, big wheels, you can drag it, you can track it, and you could do roll races with it. Literally, anything you think of, this car can do it. And all it takes is just the right mod, and this is basically like a Swiss Army knife. Now we made it to the #1 reason why you should get a C6 Corvette, and this is just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, I could be right, but the #1 reason why you should get this car is that it's reliable. Because no car is 100%, issue free from the factory, but if you're planning on getting a C6, get one from 2006 to 13, because this car came out in 2005, but the first year had a couple minor defects, I would say, but they fixed them from the 2006 and to 13. And another reason why is if you want to get an automatic, the 2005 has a 4L80E, and I think that it started in 2006. It has the 6L80E, which you could have the paddle shifter option. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. But going back to this car being reliable, this car has 115,000 miles, and there's only, other than all the mods I've done, there's a couple things I had to fix, and that's a cracked radiator because the sides were made out of plastic. So the next one was power steering line, and the evap solenoid, trunk latch solenoid, because it stopped popping up and down. And just the next thing this car needs is just the end links, and that's because I have a lowered car. I put it on coilovers, but if you have a stock ride height, the end link should be all right still. And going back to the power steering fix, only the 05 through 07 had this problem. So if you get one from 08 to 13, you don't need to worry about the power steering line being replaced. And I do suggest that you do get 08 through 13 because that had the LS3 engines. This is from the 05 to 07. This only had the LS2, so that's something else to keep in mind. Outside of regular maintenance, oil changes, fluid changes, stuff like that, this car has only cost me $302, and that's insane. $302 for a, what is this, like 13, 14-year-old car now? It's amazing. So I think that's the #1 reason why you should get this car. And if you do plan on getting the C6 Z06, just make sure that the valve guide, is replaced. I think it was valve guide. I'm not entirely sure. Valve guide, valve seats, I don't know if there's the same thing, but yeah, just make sure that's replaced or upgraded if you're planning on getting the Z06. But other than that, these cars are freaking bulletproof and parts are cheap. Like, yeah, you could literally just go into any AutoZone or O'Reilly's and pick parts up next day shipping or whatever. So if this video hasn't convinced you, my fellow Corvette owners, just comment down below other really good reasons why you should get a C6 Corvette. And if I forgot any, just comment down below as well. And yeah, I'm pretty sure other people would like to get that feedback, not only me, So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.